The J.M. Reedy is a new homeowner. Congratulations! As a new homeowner, they have begun to realize the need for all sorts of home improvement projects and tools and supplies. It can be overwhelming. I totally know. How do you balance between what you want, what you need, and what you can afford to be done? Also, any other tips for a new homeowner who is about to be a newlywed? Oh my goodness gracious. Go easy on yourself. You've got a lot of logistics. I have owned 2 houses in my life. I'm currently owning the second one of those. And my first house, the first house we bought in San Francisco, we bought just because we needed more space. We in this neighborhood that wasn't our favorite neighborhood of San Francisco, but it was a very large 4-bedroom place, which was perfect for me and my wife and my twin boys who were like 11. When you have kids, a small house gets very small very quickly, and it can happen overnight. Like their consciousness expands a little bit and the whole house becomes like a pill. This is all a long way of me saying the house that I currently own, I bought in 2010, and I love this house. I love this house like few other things I have loved. It is really, really beautiful. And when I first moved in, my wife and I had endless numbers of projects that we wanted to do. And I grabbed a moleskin notebook and I opened it up and I just started mapping the rooms, one per page, and then had a page of, I started just taking inspiration from magazines, pictures that I liked, printing them out, putting them in this book, pasting them in. Keeping pages extant of hardware and tools, kept them on separate pages, but also built project pages for the things I wanted to do. Like I'd take a picture of a room and I'd draw the bookcase I wanted to build. Now, I don't use that go-to reference anymore for the house because at a certain point, the whole house sort of entered my head or my body. I think about any given maker project I do as a process. The first process in making anything is to take the thing I want to make and get it into my body in a virtual way. This means sort of, we just put up a beautiful video with Mark Satrakian showing off Wink's mechanical hand from Hellboy. And I asked him about his design iteration process, and it's almost identical to mine, which is to draw the thing from a million different views until you really, really understand its topography. And then once you understand its topography, you can start to spin it and go, oh, if I put a fin here for a servo, I'm going to run into trouble there. These are the kind of things that you can actually do in your head if you understand the object deeply enough. And it takes a while putting the thing in your head. So for me, making that book and starting to gather the inspiration and the desire, it helped put the house in my body. The second thing I did is I built an architectural model of my house. We'll include a link to the description of several of my architectural builds. They're very straightforward. You come up with the height of your ceiling. Let's say it's 9 feet. If you make it 9 inches, you've got dollhouse scale. You make it 4.5 inches, you've got 1/24 inch scale. That means a 1/2 inch equals a foot. 24th scale is my favorite scale to do architectural modeling in. A 25-foot wide lot will be just about 1 foot in diameter, 1 foot in width. And building an architectural model of the house is also how I put the thing in my body. Actually, I have this very specific practice, which is I'll grab a paper shopping bag from under the sink where we keep those. I will cut it along its glue seam and unfold it. Then I will draw the floor that I'm about to replicate, and I will, hold on, I'm going to show you a picture here, where I have measurements that I want to log. I draw those measurements with a circle that's empty. So I draw my measurements like this. And I make sure I've covered as many of them as I can think of. And then once I have all these empty bubbles, I go to the floor and I fill in those bubbles with the measurement. And then I transfer those. Then I spend a long time with those measurements doing the math on them to bring them down to whatever scale I want to build in. And then I cut out foam core and hot glue, or foam core and crazy glue. Like I said, we'll include a link to the description of my build process for this. Those are my tips. You're about to be a newlywed, which, dude, you are also dealing with like being a bride and groom, which is its own level of tension. You're dealing with in-laws, which you haven't even asked about, but I'm sure is a whole another level of tension. Another tip I would say is, like, go easy on yourselves. You are new homeowners and you're about to be newlyweds. These are two of the more stressful things that humans go through as human beings. So just recognize that and find some space in the periphery for the two of you to kind of have your own space. These are giant projects that feel like the stakes are really high. And you can lower the emotional weight of those stakes by just communicating with each other and finding those quiet spaces with each other. Good luck. I can't tell you how much fun it is to have a morgue as you're walking through the house. Oh, I want to do that. And you're writing it down and having a page to go put that. It's just really great. I'd love to hear other people's advice about being a new homeowner and what are some of the best steps you can take. Vicky Bligh, hello Vicky Bligh, says you talk about how your cave is your sanctuary and the place where you can center yourself. And you also invite other makers to collaborate with you in your space. My question is, how difficult is it to open up your cave to others? Are you able to relax or do you find yourself hovering? I am not a hoverer. Mi casa es su casa. I want people who visit the cave to feel totally at ease and ready to grab anything. One of my favorite things about bringing in a collaborator was last year when Bobby Fingers came and worked in the cave for a couple of days. And at a certain point, after a couple of hours, he came to me and he's like, mate, I need some paintbrushes. And I was like, I think there, and he's like, I've watched enough of your videos. I think it's over there under that part, huh? And I'm like, you're totally right. He knew the structure of the cave from watching the videos. Yes, this is my sanctuary. Yes, this is a place where I center myself, but I am not precious about it. It doesn't have to be in a certain state for me to feel good here. Don't get me wrong, a clean shop is much better than a messy shop, but I'm able to work in both. And when visiting makers come here and work with me, and I see some evident joy on their face from either a tool they didn't know about, or that I had the thing they didn't think I might have, or just trying a process for the first time is really cool. Such an endorphin rush for me. I love watching people take off creatively in here. One of my favorite things that happened in this cave early on in my association with the amazing and inimitable Laura Kampf, she came here from Germany and we built I think a gravity-based bottle opener, a hammer-based, gravity-based bottle opener. And then I had to fly somewhere the next morning. And Laura was in town for a couple more days. And so we gave her a key and she came in and filmed one of her own videos here in the cave, which I love that video. I love that video. It's a different video than has ever been shot in my cave with a different point of view about making. Really, really thrilling. I love working here alone. I love being alone here. And I also love having collaborators and playing with them in here, both at the same time. I love sharing the space with people either at a fundraiser or a party and talking about the objects here. I also love executing a specific project in here with people I admire or love working with. And again, I get significant amounts of buoying from the enjoyment other people have of working in my shop. Yeah, so it's really easy for me to open up my shop. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I wanted to briefly mention that you could become a Tested member. I know, everybody is competing for you to become a member of their thing. What I want to express to you is that the Tested membership has become such an important part of the Tested family. We get tremendous feedback from the Tested members, and they expand the stories that we can tell and the things that we have access to, and you can become a part of it right now by clicking on the link below. See you in the chat.